tēnā koutou katoa, e te mana whenua, tēnā koutou. Ko taranaki te maunga, ko waitara te awa, ko te atiawa te iwi, no ototahi o. Ko Tessa Fulton takuingoa, he akunga au I te whare wānanga o Waitaha. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Redmund Spur is a new residential subdivision on the Port Hills. It is located off Cashmere Road in Hallsville. Stages 1 to 3 are nearing completion, and Dan Van Ash with Rockhill Limited has contracted us to prepare a conceptual design for stages 4 to 5. There were 3 constraints that made up our client profile. We worked with a 50% residential, 25% commercial and 25% recreational zoning ratio. We were able to achieve this exactly through our design. As you can see in the figure, the green regions make up the residential area. This contains 42 lots ranging in size from 860 to 1,880 metres squared. The commercial zone is pink, and this contains 10 sections ranging in use from your neighbourhood dairy to your local supermarket. The recreational zone is the yellow area and is primarily a forested gully. This will contain a walking track and series of rain gardens. Due to the steep contour of this area, it will be essentially untouched by earthworks. It has been recognised that the current intersection is not adequate to service the level of use. Therefore, another option is required. This will be in the form of a roundabout, which will require reconstruction of the current layout. The grade can be no more than 1 in 5, hence the layout has been chosen for a route that requires the least amount of earthworks. As you can see here, the end of Kitchener's Knoll Road will be a cul-de-sac. This has been chosen because of its ease to later on be extended for a future extension of the subdivision. It will be extended to create an island in the middle of the road, which will create an obstacle slowing down traffic. The public transport is a key part of a subdivision, and so a bus stop will be provided on Cashmere Road outside the entrance to the subdivision. This will be an extension of either the Westmoreland or Hallsville Metro line. For the cost estimation for the transport and roading section, it was figured to be about $1.64 million. As you can see here, the cost estimation for Redmund Spur Road was roughly $500,000, and Kitchener's Knoll Road was worked out to be roughly $700,000.
Tēnā koutou katoa. E te mana whenua, tēnā koutou. Ko tō awa whare papa te maunga, ko motueka te awa. No whakatū ahau. Ko Ben Corellis taku ingoa. He akonga au I te whare whanga o Waitaha. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. To begin the design process, several constraints had to be considered. The first was the demand on the supply network from stages 4 to 5 and from the entire development once it's finished. The minimum fire flooding flows available at each fire hydrant also were calculated. After the earthquake sequence of 2010 to 2011 in Canterbury, resilience is a key factor in any infrastructure design, and while not required for consideration by design codes, it still is important for networks to be able to handle adverse events. Cost also plays a huge role in determining which solution to choose. In this case, the value of the solution offered was important as the client was seeking the highest value solution and not necessarily the lowest cost. Reservoirs are utilised across many hillside developments in Christchurch and reduce the risk of disconnection in the event of a power outage or similar event. Reservoirs also provide interim storage and offer gravity reticulation in this case, reducing the amount of operating time on pumping infrastructure, which will then save maintenance and operating costs. The recommended design solution for stages 4 to 5 of Redmund Spur was to install a new reservoir at the very upper extent of the development. This was calculated to have an approximate volume of 1,100 metres cubed, which is in line with other reservoirs in the area. To fill the reservoir, the Lansdowne scheme supply line was proposed to be rerouted through the future stages of the development with the temporary link. This is the proposed outline of the water infrastructure on the upper Redmund Spur Ridge, while in this slide the proposed location of water mains in stages 4 to 5 is shown. It is important to make sure that future development can take place without any additional work from the construction team, and for this reason a construction sequence was developed for the temporary water link on the main ridge. Once the permanent main connects to the reservoir in its entirety, then the Lansdowne scheme can be removed from Sutherland's one and reconnected to the new reservoir at the top of the ridge. This then provides flow through the subdivision as shown. The benefits of a temporary supply are that the design for the future stages of development have less constraints, as they don't have to factor in any roading alignments that may have been locked in if permanent main was installed in stages 4 to 5. It also allows costs to be spread across the construction phases. A quick financial analysis was done for stages 4 to 5 of Redmund Spur. This was to ensure that the developer wasn't going to lose money on the development. So the sources of income for the developer were from section sales, as well as the possibility of commercial lease. However, this was not considered in the financial analysis, as the developer does not appear to be interested in running a series of commercial properties. The first is construction and consulting, which makes up the lion's share of the costs. The second is the development contribution, which also takes a surprising amount of money. Sales tax also impacts on these sections as they're developed for the purpose of being sold, as well as other things like loan interest and depreciation and appreciation on properties and assets. At the outcome of this financial analysis, the developer was found to make around $9.2 million in profit.
Tēnā koutou katoa. E te mana whenua, tēnā koutou. Ko monganui te maunga, ko waro te awa, no Aotearoa aku tipuna. No tauranga au, ko Callum taku ingoa, he akongo ui te whare wananga o wata. No reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. The existing wastewater infrastructure for stages 1 to 3 of the Redmund Spur development is a pressurised sewer system. Due to the existing zoning and the amount of lots in these stages, the average sewage flow was calculated to be 24.9 metres cubed per day, with a maximum flow of 124.8 metres cubed per day. This sewage system is made up of a pipe network of polyethylene pipes with 150mm mains and 100mm lateral connections for each lot. After the development of stages 4 and 5, the average sewage flow is predicted to increase to 82.7 metres cubed per day, with a maximum flow of 413.8 metres cubed per day. Due to the significant increase in peak and average flows as a result of the development of stages 4 and 5, the excess wastewater demand may not be able to be discharged into the council system at peak times. Because of this, a system that implements a higher retention time will need to be considered for our design. The Redmund Spur subdivision is in a pressurised sewage system zoned area by the Regional Council. The collection option for the wastewater that was recommended was a grinder pump and storage tank option. These consist of an emergency storage tank that, in case of a power cut and natural disaster, is able to hold a household's wastewater for at least a couple of days. If the wastewater level within the storage unit gets above a certain level, an emergency relief gully is implemented that will relieve the pressure on the storage tank so that it doesn't get damaged. Based on estimates considering the wastewater from the residential and commercial areas, treatment will not be required. This is because regular household wastewater and the commercial wastewater for our specific businesses within our subdivision will just be regular grey water and black water. The total cost for the wastewater network in stages 4 and 5 will be approximately $1.39 million. This does not include the tanks and grinder pump installation.
Tēnā koutou katoa. E te manga whenua, tēnā koutou. Ko Signal Hill te manga, ko Leith te awa, no Dunedin aho. Ko Rona Scott taku ingoa, he akanga a te whare wānanga o Waitaha. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. And I was in charge of the stormwater design for the Redmund Spur Subdivision. Our stormwater design that we have chosen involves having personal storage tanks under each section. This was done in stages 1 and 3, and it worked quite well, so we'll be doing it in stages 4 and 5. These tanks will then feed into our pipe network, which will then feed into our rain gardens in the gully. We have chosen rain gardens because they offer the best pollutant removal out of our stormwater treatment options. From the rain gardens, it will then flow into the existing dry detention pond or out into the Sutherland Stormwater Treatment Facility, which will be completed next year. This is a picture of our rain garden design. We'll have stormwater inflowing from each side. The stormwater will then pool in the rain garden and soak through, removing all the sediment and pollutants from it. Any excess stormwater that is produced will go out the overflow and down into the existing network. Our stormwater pipe network has been designed so that it feeds into the gully at regular intervals. It has also been designed so we have minimal easements with the pipes going under recreational land or under the roads and footpaths. Our stormwater construction cost came in just under $1 million. This included the detention tanks, all the mains, the planting, and the rain gardens. For our project timeline, we had the following constraints. First, that it had to be done in 1.5 years. This meant that a few of the project had to be done simultaneously. Second, that the time that it takes to construct the water tank at the top was very long, so we had to put in the road so we could start construction as early as possible, and also that the rain garden needed to be put in last so that all the sediment from construction didn't get trapped in it and the rain garden didn't have to be redone. And also no major geotechnical work to be done during midwinter due to the conditions.
Tēnā koutou katoa, I te maha wenua, tēnā koutou, ko Hoa Mountain te manga, ko Wei te awa, no China aho, ko Isaac taku inua, he akonga o I te wale, wanaga ko Waitaha, o riha, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou akoa. I took care of the geotechnical aspect on this project. My job is to identify the geohazards and provide suitable solutions to them. In the geotechnical plan in the figure, Area 7 is associated with steep slopes, which is not recommended for residential development. The gully area in the middle will be transformed into a recreational area with all its trees and plants retained. The geotechnical risks in the subdivision are erodible soil, landslips, and seismic activity. Earthworks will be required to ensure the gradient of the proposed road to be less than 1/6, which is the maximum allowable steepness according to the infrastructure design guide. In the figure, the red area is to be cut out and the green area is the ones to be filled in. The amount of earthworks should be kept to a minimum to achieve better sediment control. Sediment control approaches should also be implemented to ensure the soil does not wash off. Some options such as complete the earthworks and construction in stages or carry out earthworks in a dry season. Throughout the project, reasonable dust management may be required, and we also need to provide regular inspection. A viable solution to reduce the risk of slope stability and prevent possible landslips. The proposal is to construct the retaining walls at where major earthwork will take place. Relevant issues with retaining walls, such as surcharges, foundation and drainage, and seismic loads must be taken into consideration and covered in our calculation. Timber pole retaining wall is proposed to be used in stages 4 and 5, as it's relatively cheaper and consistent with ones used in previous stages.
Thanks for watching our presentation.